This is CBC Here and Now.
We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow.
What this is all about, the freedom that we have in our country, the freedom to be able to do what we're doing right now, talk freely about how we feel about stuff.
We love thee, we love thee, we love thee, smiling land.
Tonight, marking Remembrance Day, we'll take you to the ceremony in St. John's and Ottawa, and we dip into the CBC archives to bring you stories from Remembrance Days past. Good evening and welcome to a special Remembrance Day edition of Here and Now. We have some special programming for you this evening, but we'll start with highlights from the Remembrance Day ceremony at the National War Memorial in downtown St. John's.
What does Remembrance Day mean?
To remember all the war people that fought in the war.
Why do you think it's important to keep coming out to this?
To remember everyone who was in the war and who died in the war.
How does Remembrance Day change for you year over year?
It doesn't really change. I still got the same in my heart, what this is all about, the freedom that we have in our country, and not have to go back and do what our forefathers did. And keep remembering that, you know, why do we have to be fighting with each other all the time? Why can't we live in peace?
What do you remember today?
In my situation when I was in the service, and I think about other people that I know that didn't make it. I don't think any of these services should be forgotten.
When I see these people here today, I'm really proud that they're here and how they recognize and really like a veteran. They're really making them feel proud today.
Well, despite being cloudy and wet in Clarenville today, many turned out to show their respects. Gordon Wheaton sent us these photos of Remembrance Day ceremonies there. Members of the town's cadet squadron also took part in the event. Well, cold weather and warm hearts in Ottawa today for the main Remembrance Day ceremony in the country. Thousands gathered at the National War Memorial. Every year, the crowds come out, but the number of veterans in attendance gets smaller as age catches up with those being honored. Ceremonies like this help pass the message of their service and sacrifice to a new generation. The Governor General and the Prime Minister were among the dignitaries laying wreaths. And two of Canada's top cadets come from this province this year. They were selected to be in Ottawa for the ceremony today. Maggie Lewis is with the Royal Canadian Sea Cadets and was selected to carry the wreath on behalf of Canada's youth. After the ceremony, Lewis could be seen taking a selfie with the Prime Minister and other cadets. On the left of the screen is Junior Canadian Ranger Zoe Stevens from Mary's Harbour in Labrador. She was the junior ranger chosen to attend today's ceremony. Lewis's mother posted it to Facebook this afternoon, and we'll give you a closer look at Zoe Stevens from Mary's Harbour since she didn't make it into that selfie. These cadets will get to have dinner today with the Governor General. Certainly an honor for all of them involved. Well, many families have treasured stories about their parents or grandparents during the wars. For the Dunphy family in Witless Bay, their story features one of the province's greatest heroes, Tommy Ricketts. As luck would have it, James Dunphy was with Ricketts at one of the biggest moments of his life when he received the Victoria Cross for Valor. And what Dunphy said to Ricketts in that moment still rings true today. Here now, Zach Audi has that story.
Wherever Newfoundlanders and Labradorians go in the world, they always think of home. That was true as people from this province huddled in Europe's muddy trenches, but it was just as true in the war's moments of glory in the highest places of the British Empire. John Dunphy knows it's true because his father was there alongside Tommy Ricketts.
When he got the invitation to go up to meet King George with Tommy, and that was the guy who was coming. Wasn't no colonel, big colonel or anything like that. No, just an ordinary guy.
Ricketts, too, was an ordinary guy who became the most celebrated hero of the Royal Newfoundland Regiment. At 15, Ricketts lied about his age to fight in World War I. During a heated battle, Ricketts ran through a hail of bullets to help drive the enemy from a crucial position. His bravery would make him the youngest person in history to be awarded the Victoria Cross. But all of that was yet to come when James Dunphy and Tommy Ricketts met in St. John's in 1916.
Him and Tommy Ricketts, they signed up the same day. And Tommy, I think Tommy or somebody, one of them said, he said, I will go over for a few months and we have a job to do. We'll do the job and we'll come on home. You know, but it was more than a few months.
Have you been? It's just one of these human connections that, if it wasn't for John telling the story, would have been lost to history forever.
Historian Christopher Reed was fascinated when he discovered Dunphy's connection to the Ricketts story. His own research revealed that Dunphy and Ricketts traveled on parallel tracks through much of the war. They went through basic training together and arrived at the front lines on the same day. Both men were wounded early in the campaign, but while Ricketts returned to battle, Dunphy spent a full year in hospital before becoming a sergeant at the Newfoundland Regiment office in London. It was there in 1918 that Dunphy learned Ricketts would be receiving the Victoria Cross and would need an honor guard to go with him.
He's a sergeant. If I were a betting man, he probably recognized Tommy Ricketts' name as someone he had served with and went to training with. And as the sergeant in the office probably said, yeah, I'm going.
Like you would.
Exactly. Rank has privilege, as they say in the military.
The two men traveled to Sandringham Castle, where King George V waited to present Ricketts with the Empire's highest honor.
And when he said to Tommy, God, he says, here we are, look, we're walking down this place now, we're going to meet the king, he says. And he says, look at the furniture, and look at the pictures, and look at the, the big high ceilings. And I suppose they were in awe of it, They were in awe that they're coming out Torskow out of a 4-bedroom house up on the hill up there.
As they awaited the king, their booted feet sank into the castle's plush carpet.
And then when they were walking, they were going. And he said, Jim, how about you describe this? I think Tommy asked them or something, I don't know now. And that's when my father came up with the line. He said, it was like walking on bog in Torskow, he said. And when he said that, I think it resonated with every Newfoundlander could understand it. Every Newfoundlander knew what he was talking about.
Like walking on a bog in Torskow. Those words would become part of Dunphy's family story, told and retold for years to come. After the war, Dunphy and Ricketts remained friends and would sometimes get together at Ricketts' home in St. John's. But John Dunphy says they never reveled in that story, or seemingly any other.
And they'd have a drink when they go out to Tommy, they might have a drink or something, but there's something that was odd. They never said, good luck. But I didn't get it until my mother told me, because they figured in they were enjoying the drink at the cost of somebody else, The guys that didn't come back,
On Remembrance Day, John Dunphy thinks about people like his father, like Tommy Ricketts, and all those who didn't come back with them. And he remembers his father's words every time his feet sink into the plush carpet of his senior's home in peaceful Witless Bay.
There's something about Newfoundland when they get away, but they always want to come back, you know.
Zach Gowdy, CBC News, Witless Bay.
Well, now to a story that has everyone talking. He's been a household name in Canada for decades, but Don Cherry will no longer be part of Hockey Night in Canada. He parted ways with Rogers Sportsnet today after making comments on Saturday night's broadcast about immigrants and Remembrance Day.
You people love you that come here, whatever it is. You love our way of life. You love our milk and honey. At least you could pay a couple of bucks for poppies or something like that. These guys pay for your way of life that you enjoy in Canada. These guys paid the biggest price.
Now, Rogers Sportsnet apologized, calling the comments offensive, and says it talked to Cherry about the severity of the issue. The league also calls the comments offensive and contrary to its values. CBC put out a statement saying it no longer has any editorial control over Hockey Night in Canada, even though it does air the show. Now, in a statement about 90 minutes ago, Rogers Sportsnet said Cherry is no longer part of the Hockey Night in Canada broadcasts. Sportsnet says, quote, following further discussions with Don Cherry, it has decided it is the right time for him to immediately step down. Well, 1 week ago, no one showed up to Cade Foster's birthday party in Corner Brook, but on Saturday, he celebrated with some new friends, the Toronto Maple Leafs. They happen to be his favorite professional hockey players. The Toronto Maple Leafs brought Cade and his family to Toronto this weekend to meet the players and watch the game. This all came about after Cade's dad took to Twitter last week when no one showed up for Cade's 11th birthday party. Thousands of people responded to the tweet, including Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and, of course, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Following the game, Cade's dad said in a tweet that his son will never forget this day. Nice. Well, fire in Lodge Bay burned down some warehouses. Keith Rumbold owns the old school building and had been using it as a warehouse. Garland Pie also has a warehouse that burned down. Rumbold told CBC News that the town's firefighting equipment failed, so fire departments from the nearby towns of Mary's Harbor and Red Bay had to help. The province's Department of Natural Resources held a massive mining and mineral conference in St. John's this week. More than 700 people from around the world took part in the event that showcases the work that companies are doing here. Mining currently employs nearly 6,000 people in this province, and the industry said there is room to grow. The 4-day-long conference offered up talks on new mining and analytical techniques. It also allowed prospectors and companies to show off their findings from the past year.
It's big. The thing about mining is that most of the deposits are located in more rural areas, and that's what keeps rural areas going. And we have most every commodity that is mined in the world in some degree here in Newfoundland, from gold, copper, silver, industrial minerals. We have it all.
Time for a look at the weather forecast. Some messy weather on the way, but first we'll have a look at what's coming tonight. Some showers for the east, for the St. John's area, a few flurries for the west coast, but then overnight tonight looking at mostly a clear evening. Temperature-wise for St. John's around the freezing mark, -7 in Marystown, -8 in Corner Brook, and winds kind of on the light side. Not so much though up along the Labrador coast. A westerly wind 60 gusting to 80 for the Nain area, -10 in Happy Valley Goose Bay overnight tonight. So these are all the watches and warnings that are in place right now. We'll start with the southwest coast. Port aux Basques looking at a wreck house wind warning, gusts up to 100 kilometers an hour. This is all to start tomorrow morning into tomorrow night. A rainfall warning, 35 to 65 millimeters of rain expected for the Burgeo area, as well as along the coast. 5 to 10 centimeters of snow to start the day, and then that should turn into rain. So this is how it's all going to play out tomorrow morning. Looking at that snow pushing through first, around noontime we start to see that heavy rain hit Port aux Basques and the southwest coast. And as the day persists, we're getting that snow moving up into southeastern Labrador. So tomorrow, temperature-wise in the east, pretty nice day actually, 8 degrees, a mix of sun and cloud for the St. John's area, a southeasterly wind gusting up to 50, so it'll be a little bit breezy. As we move into the central areas, a little bit cooler in Grand Falls, Windsor with that mix of showers and flurries. Temperatures in the double digits in the Harbour Breton area with some afternoon, evening showers there. Port aux Basques looking at 11 degrees, very windy, very wet day. And as we move up along the coast, that mix of flurries and showers turns into more substantial snow. Cartwright looking at seeing that later on into Tuesday night. So for most of tomorrow for Labrador, looking at some sunshine and temperatures around -11 in Churchill Falls. So then we get into Tuesday night into Wednesday. That's when much of Labrador is going to be affected by this storm coming through. We have snowfall warning in place for the Norman Bay, Lodge Bay area up through Upper Lake Melville. We have a winter storm warning, 30 to 40 centimeters of snow expected there and pretty gusty. 15 to 30 centimeters of snow for the rest of the coast. So you can see how this is affecting those areas Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning. We have a wraparound of rain, though, for the island as well Wednesday night. That will turn into some flurries for the west coast. Happy Valley Goose Bay looking at some snow there Wednesday night. So these are your temperatures for Wednesday, staying in the warm end of things. 10 degrees for St. John's, 7 degrees for Corner Brook with some showers. Lab City looking at -9 with some periods of snow, -5 in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Day coverage. During the Second World War, a Greek freighter was torpedoed off Newfoundland and 20 people drifted ashore in St. Mary's Bay. In 1991, one of the survivors went back to St. Vincent's to piece together what happened. The CBC's Juanita Berry was there too.
The winter of 1942. The Icarion was part of a convoy like this one. 45 ships on their way to Halifax to pick up supplies for soldiers in England. But 3 days into the trip, the Greek freighter was separated from the others during a storm. It was attacked and sunk by a German submarine. Jerry Corcamelis was second mate on the Icarion. He was 25 years old at the time. For his 75th birthday, his family has taken him back to Newfoundland. And people in St. Vincent's are helping to piece together the events of that day.
And I remember that
Jerry's strongest memory is of the 2 days he and his mates were adrift in the icy Atlantic water.
this is everybody, this is some, yeah, this is looks to death, you know.
People had given up by that time,
yeah,
but by the
afraid.
next night, from the cold and the rain and the fact that they hadn't seen land and that they realized that they didn't know where they were going, they began to feel that really this was the end.
Well, this is what we saw out here in the bright out here, see?
In 1942, Pat Stamp was only 17 years old, but he remembers it like it was yesterday. When Jerry's tiny raft was spotted outside their beach, everyone in the community came running to lend a hand.
So it was very rough there. You couldn't get down this close to the water. The water was very rough. So then they had to launch a dory. And just 3 or 4 men were in the dory with a rope. And they threw it into the jolly boat, and so they tied it on. So they pulled her in high and dry. And
Stamp says they couldn't believe the state the men were in.
yeah, only just the shorts. I know my father, he took off his jacket and put on one man there on the beach. He was there on the beach, and he had nothing on him, only just his bare skin.
The people of St. Vincent's took the men into their homes and shared their food and clothes.
If it hadn't been for the people of this town, they would have drowned because they would have ended up on the rocks. And he used to speak about it all the time, and he used to say they were such wonderful people and that he wanted to see them again and thank them.
Your hands were frozen, weren't they, your fingers?
Yeah.
And yesterday he got that chance. He met the nurse who cared for him, and townspeople who for 50 years treasured the mementos they recovered from the disaster.
Oh, thank you very much.
Do you remember what that was?
That the first aid have inside.
First aid kit?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But Jerry doesn't take the souvenir. He says all he really wants to remember about that day is the kindness of the people in St. Vincent's. For CBC News, I'm Juanita Berry.
Story from the war, this time a soldier and his nurse. During World War II, Patrick Preston was on board a British fuel tanker that was torpedoed by a German sub. Preston was treated for severe burns at a hospital in Argentia. In 1996, he visited the nurse who saved his life and finally had a chance to say thank you. Peter Walsh was there.
A hotel room in Grand Falls, Windsor is a long way from home for Patrick Preston. Preston is from Weymouth, England. He's here for a long overdue reunion with a nurse who treated him 54 years ago. That's when Preston was torpedoed off Newfoundland by a German submarine. 60 men on his fuel ship died. Preston was only one of 4 who survived.
It's so vivid. They were like dancing dervishes because they were all ablaze from head to foot. And so was I, for that matter. And I could hear them screaming, you know.
For weeks, Preston was treated for his burns by this woman. Madeline Lannon was a nurse at the Argentia Hospital. Preston, seen here on the right, says without Lannon's care and support, he would never have recovered. They met today, after 54 years apart.
Oh, I'm so good to see you.
No, these were Free French sailors that I met there.
Lannon showed her old patient wartime photos of men who weren't lucky enough to survive German attacks. She remembers Preston and his shipmates clearly.
I went up to each individual patient and just got down to the ear to tell them that I was their night nurse and that I would be with them all night in the room.
She seemed to be there all the time, you know, and fed me. I think on one occasion when I was getting a little better, what little hair I had left, she washed my hair for me, and generally nursed me and looked after me.
But Madeline Lannon doesn't take much credit for Preston's survival.
I'm very modest about that. I did the best I could for him. And I loved my patients and I loved my work.
But Preston says without her night and day attention, he would have died.
Is it difficult to talk about?
Yeah.
Patrick Preston plans to visit Lannon for 3 days. The two plan to just reminisce. But Preston has already said what he wanted to.
Just a plain thank you.
Peter Walsh, CBC News, Grand Falls, Windsor.
Well, Little Bay is a small community in Green Bay. In 2007, hundreds of people turned out to say goodbye to 26-year-old Stephen Buzane. Buzane was a corporal killed by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan. Kevin Harvey has his story.
Stephen Buzane kept Little Bay close to his heart, and he let his family know, should anything happen to him while he was serving in Afghanistan, then this is the place where he'd like to be laid to rest. On Saturday, family, friends, and the military honored his request.
There's always something that you don't want to see or happen or everything else, and this is one of the bad things that you don't want to see.
This young man gave the ultimate sacrifice for us and for our freedom, and although I may not agree with everything our government is doing, I do support our troops.
I want to show respect. I'm from the same community, and
And when he was, last time I seen, he was only a small fellow, and I make sure I show respect for him.
For 22 years, Gladys Osmond has been writing letters to soldiers serving overseas, but this is her first military funeral.
Yes, it's the first time. Yeah. And the family asked me to come to be with them. I'm humbled and I'm honored.
It was a funeral with full military honors.
He knew there was a difference between living a life that mattered and merely existing. Helping the Afghan people mattered. Being a friend and a soldier his fellows and 3 BPCL I could rely on mattered.
His soul being pleasing to the Lord, he has taken him quickly from the wickedness around him.
Stephen was not afraid to die. He was not afraid of death. And it allows us to receive a lot of comfort and consolation in the midst of our time of mourning, our time of grieving.
Stephen Bazan was buried next to his grandfather, a member of the Newfoundland Forestry Unit during World War II. Kevin Harvey, CBC News, Little Bay.
John Ford was a prisoner of war at a Japanese concentration camp during the Korean War. He witnessed the atomic bombing of Nagasaki, and in 2002 it was still fresh in his mind. Here's the CBC's Susan Pedler.
For the last 15 years, John Ford has had the honor of laying a wreath at the cenotaph. Ford may lay the wreath in St. John's, but his thoughts are in Nagasaki. That's where he spent almost 4 years as a prisoner of war during World War II.
Individuals, I think individuals, my friends, who was with me one day and gone the next. I can't help but think of them every day. And there's never one day in my life, never one, that I don't have something to come back and remind me of Japan.
Now a new film takes Ford back to face his past. The goal is to document the story of the only living Canadian who witnessed the attack.
To me, here's where the bomb dropped, straight ahead of me there, right in that valley. Yes. And I saw the whole thing as it happened.
The film was the reason Ford returned to Nagasaki. It was the first time he'd been there since he left in 1945.
How do you feel being here right now looking at this?
Oh, difficult.
While he was in prison, Ford and thousands of other POWs were beaten and starved. They had no medical attention. Many didn't survive malnutrition, pneumonia, and dysentery. Those who did were used as slave labor.
100,000 prisoners line up in neat rows.
For further humiliation, they were also shown off, paraded in front of Japanese dignitaries. John Ford says he almost gave up many times. Now he's glad his story will be a legacy to those who didn't survive.
Actually, I didn't want the story, but I'm glad to get it out. It does complete part of my cycle of living.
Susan Pedler, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, nearly 10 years ago, Corporal Brian Pinkson was killed by a roadside bomb in Afghanistan. On that Remembrance Day in 2010, the ceremony in Corner Brook had special meaning to many different people. Pinkson's mother, Debbie, laid a wreath in memory of her son and was joined by the mother of another fallen soldier. Doug Greer reports.
Next, we have the laying of the wreaths by the Motherhood of Canada. Mrs. Agnes Bishop.
Agnes Bishop's son, Sergeant Craig Gillum, died in combat near Kandahar 4 years ago. Every day is Remembrance Day.
You have a child, you never lose a child, right? Your child is yours forever. It doesn't get any easier, you just cope with it day by day. Right? At the time when I was thinking about him, I was also thinking about Mrs. Pinson.
Debbie Pinkson.
Laying a wreath on behalf of her son, Corporal Brian Neil Calvin Pinkson, who died on
Debbie Pinkson still can't talk about her grief. Kerry Pittman was Brian's uncle and like a father.
Every day is a new day in which we're getting a little stronger, but Brian was such a big part of our lives that everything reminds us of Brian.
Brian Pinkson is also part of the remembrance of this city.
My pop was in the war, and Brian Pinkson, we know.
When it's happening to people in other communities and other parts of the country, it kind of hits the heart, but when it hits somebody from our community, it's even harder.
An official ceremony at the Legion also honored Brian Pinkson today. His picture was added to the many of local people killed in war.
It's a place we can come, and we're honored by this picture on the wall, but it's something that we take it as a great honor to see him up there with all those great soldiers that have fallen in the past.
A sad honor. Doug Greer, CBC News, Corner Brook.
many soldiers who fought in World War I and II are no longer with us. Their stories often buried with them or hidden in their memories. In 1993, Otso Rizori looked deeper at the meaning of Remembrance Day and the mixed memories of some older soldiers.
Tonight you'll meet 3 Newfoundlanders who know what war is all about. When they volunteered in 1940 to help stop the march of fascism across 3 continents, they had no idea what they were getting themselves into. They came back with very mixed feelings. They'd seen the worst and the best of human nature, the mass destruction on one hand, the personal compassion on the other. Sometimes it's hard to tell what their war was all about, a blind orgy of death or a brave celebration of life. Jack Tizard, retired department store clerk, signed up in June 1940 and served till February 1946.
Hello, Jay. How you doing, right?
Paul MacDonald. MacDonald's a retired federal civil servant. He served from February 1940 to December 1945. Eric Rowe, retired provincial civil servant, served from June 1940 to March 1946. 3 Navy veterans who volunteered for the same reason as everybody else in those days, because it was the thing to do.
When we first got introduced to war, when we joined up first, when we see people being killed in air raids, civilians and all the rest of it, you look at it, war is a horrible thing. But after Germany overran Poland and started to come on down through, it was a necessary evil then.
Well, wars are unavoidable, and someone got to defend your country. So it happened to be us.
Well, you had to fight back. Like to boy, if you hit me, and you hit me hard enough. And if I can't get away, I'll have to fight back. This is what it's about.
For most young people these days, war is a game. An artificial crisis that calls on responses no wider in scope than hand-to-eye coordination. A trivial pursuit of electronic elimination. A fantasy. You come to the end of the game and everything is the same as it was before.
If you had not gone to the war, you just kept going here in Newfoundland, do you think you'd be a different person today?
I think I would.
Can you explain that?
I couldn't explain how different I'd be, but I think I would. I wouldn't have the same feeling for a fellow man as I did. For a fellow man. I'm sure of that, because things I've done and things people have done for me when we're overseas, you just can't forget it.
What struck home to me was the civilians, the suffering that they did. As I said before, going down the air raid shelters, living in the air raid shelters most of the time, and coming home the next morning from the air raid shelter and find their house flattened, that sort of thing.
They got Newfoundland people out there who were familiar with wood cutting. And they had them out cutting down, well, not trees, but buildings, digging to the rubble of the buildings. And they had all kinds of people out assisting to get people that were buried in those shelters and everything. And that woke me up, and I said, well, you're into it, buddy.
It's nothing but old men's memories now, crumbling under the weight of peace. Assuming the quality of historic monuments, a bit of heritage amid the hustle and bustle.
When you went into action, everybody had a job to do. Everybody. While it was going on, Everyone was banging whatever their position was in the gun's crew or whatever it was, doing it. After it was all over, we'd sit down, and I can't use it on television. I can't, but we'd sit down and the fellow said, my God, that was so close, I filled my pants. There was no heroes, but there was no cowards. Every man did his job, and anyone says he wasn't frightened, there's something wrong with him.
There's all this planning that goes on. Some of it works, some don't. For instance, I took part in the Dieppe raid, and a Dieppe raid was only I don't know if it was planned properly or what, but there's an awful lot of loss of lives there.
There's days that you'll never forget. You'll always think it's one of your comrades. Always think it. If something happened during the war. Although I might forget where I was a couple of days ago, but there's things, it's there in your memory all the time. You just don't go away.
At the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 56 in St. John's, the names of those who didn't make it back alive are held sacred in this shrine. The walls of the lounge are a gallery display of the waves of Newfoundlanders sent off into the wars.
When we were getting organized, or when we all joined up, most of the people that were there, either their fathers or their uncles or somebody belonged to them, had served in the First World War. And we had house parties. And I remember one of my uncles, who was a blue puttee, and one word he said to us, remember this, he said, your good times will outweigh your bad ones. And I never forgot that. And I can still say it today. There was times everyone had a share of action. But when it was all over, it's just one big happy family again. Who's dead, who's alive, who's hurt, who's where.
So they march to their local war memorial on November 11th each year.
We're here today to remember our fallen comrades, and they paid the supreme sacrifice so that I may be here today. And then you look at among the ranks, and every year you can see they're getting less and less and less. Our own people, our own veterans that are well enough to be brought to the war memorial in wheelchairs. Every year there's one or two missing.
In 48 years of relative peace, the Legion has distilled the country's collective memories of war into pure spirit.
The spirit of comradeship that exists today among veterans, you might come in here and say, well, there's a bunch of old veterans there with their medals on them and all the rest of it. But that's not so. I mean, we like to get together. We know what we did 40, 50 years ago. And for that to exist, right down all these years, you wouldn't buy it for $1 million.
Here at the Legion, the war itself has become like the ghost of the grape in the bottle, the faint flavor of a distant harvest. It's an ancient secret, according to which light is born from darkness and peace from war.
Back in 1998, Air Force women from the Second World War attended a reunion in this province. Over 400 of them from Canada, Britain, the United States, and Australia made the trip. Rick Seward was there.
Newsreels of World War II show men up front. They laid down their lives and were rightly recognized as heroes. But behind the battlefield scenes, women played significant roles. They held jobs in administration, mess halls, hospitals, and air control centers. Now, more than a half-century later, they are coming forward to tell their stories.
Well, we served in filter operations. Now, filter were connected directly to radar stations and to aircraft detection corps, and then we passed the information along to fighter squadrons, to the Navy, and to the Army.
I was termed in those days a plotter, and that's air traffic control. I was underground in a control room.
It wasn't always glamorous work, but Betty Wells, who served as a cook with the RAF, says she served with a sense of pride and duty.
Everything was rationed. And I said, the airmen, when they were going on night flying trips or early morning duties, I said their names were put on a list there, so we could, when they come in and give their name, we could make sure that they got their meal.
Most of these women were still at home with their parents and families when they answered the call, but many feel that their contribution helped change the role of women forever.
You know, later on I figured that we were probably pioneers in the women's liberation, although I'm not a, that type.
These veterans will meet again in 2 years to reminisce about some of the happiest times in their lives.
We all love you, Sergeant Major, especially when you shout and show a leg.
Rick Seward, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, another group who didn't battle on the front lines were the Newfoundland Foresters. During the Second World War, this group performed their war duty as lumberjacks. David Zeltzer takes us back to their 60th anniversary in 1999.
It was a good life, you know, it was very good.
Frank Thompson was 18 and living in Botwood when he tried to enlist, but the recruiters thought he was too young.
He wouldn't let me join the Navy, so at the time, now they was taking volunteers for the forestry down in Fisher Falls. So I went down to Fisher Falls and hooked on.
Thompson and 3,600 other Newfoundlanders sailed to Scotland and spent years cutting wood for the war effort. They got paid $52 a month and had to send half home to their mothers.
We didn't care too much as long as we got away. At that time, say, boy, you know, the work wasn't too plentiful.
I met him when I was transferred to Granton in Spain, Scotland, where...
Daisy Fraser was from Aberdeen. She met Frank during the war, married him, and moved to Newfoundland.
The train stopped at Badger on the 13th of April, and I looked out and I just saw nothing, only snow everywhere.
I met Jean the very first day I landed in Scotland.
Larry and Jean Gladney tell a similar story. Jean's a Glaswegian who met the man from Clarenville who'd come to Scotland to cut wood.
I was interested in the girl. She was dressed in her Scottish kilt and looked a healthy piece of stuff to me, you know. So I said, what about a date now for tonight? Well, she said, you'll have to go in over those hills, she said, into Whistlefield. She said, that's 5 miles from here. Well, I said, I don't mind that.
For more than 20 years, the Foresters have been holding an annual reunion somewhere in the province. Tonight, the reunion marking the 60th anniversary gets underway in Clarenville. And the man who calls himself Lumberjack Larry has the tall tales already.
I told him how our blacksmith, Phil Jackson, he could take a wire nail and make a razor, but he also could sharpen an ordinary axe that you could shave with. So Phil sharpened up the axe and he passed it along and I lathered up my face and I actually shaved the face with the axe.
Most of the former lumberjacks are in their 80s now. As their numbers dwindle, so does the turnout at the reunions. There may only be a few hundred of them left. David Zeltzer, CBC News, Clarenville.
Welcome back. Well, that's it for our Remembrance Day look back. Thank you for spending part of your evening with us. We'll be back to regular programming tomorrow night. But before we leave you tonight, we're going to show you a reading of Major John McCrae's poem In Flanders Fields. Legionnaire Jerry O'Grady passed away in 2010, but in 2001 he left us with this rendition of this famous verse.
In Flanders Fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago we lived, felt dawn, saw sunsets glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. Be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields.